The 1970s gave us Brown Sugar, Lennon's Imagine,
There's no heaven,
and Lola.
tastes like Coca-Cola.
But did you know governments and radio stations banned them? From moans, drugs, and sex to politics and religion. 25 songs silenced for controversy. And the final track will leave you speechless. Number 25, Armed and Extremely Dangerous. First Choice, 1973. The title alone sounds like a newspaper headline, but in 1973, it was a disco single that sparked unease. First Choice, a Philadelphia soul trio, dropped this hit under Philly Groove Records, selling over 500,000 copies. Yet its provocative title clashed with radio sensibilities during a decade marked by political assassinations and fears of urban violence. Program directors feared kids would take it literally. Despite charting in the UK Top 20, American airplay stalled. And here's the twist. Later disco historians saw it as harmless, playful wordplay. But in its time, broadcasters treated it as a threat wrapped in vinyl. That paranoia set the stage for even stranger bands that followed. Number 24, Turn It Down, The Sweet, 1974.
So your old man went and called you a degenerate bomb.
Imagine four glitter-covered rockers told their music was too subjective. That's what the BBC claimed in 1974. The Sweet were already climbing charts with Ballroom Blitz when they unleashed Turn It Down. Guitars roared, vocals sneered, and censors recoiled. The BBC slapped a ban, calling the track morally irresponsible, though behind closed doors, producers admitted it was too brash for family radio. Ironically, in Germany, the song reached the top 10, proving controversial sales abroad. Lead singer Brian Connolly quipped that bands did us more good than harm. But here's the irony. The same decade that feared glam rock's flamboyance would soon face even greater lyrical shocks. Number 23, Statue of Liberty, XTC, 1978.
The first time I saw you standing at the water.
One cheeky lyric, I sail beneath your skirt, was enough to trigger BBC censorship. XTC's 1978 debut single felt harmless compared to Punk's Fury, yet Radio 1 pulled it instantly. Britain's airwaves couldn't stomach sexual innuendo hidden in a metaphor about America's symbol of freedom. Fans laughed at the overreaction, but the band ironically gave XTC press they couldn't buy. The song itself peaked low on the charts, but the scandal cemented their rebellious reputation. Years later, Andy Partridge joked that the lyric was tame compared to what followed. And that's the real intrigue. How could a playful wink cause panic when, within months, far louder controversies were about to explode? Number 22, Roxanne, The Police, 1978.
Rocks!
A single red light on a Paris street inspired Sting to write Roxanne, but its subject matter nearly killed its airplay. The Police were nobodies in '78, playing to tiny clubs. Then came this song about a man begging a prostitute to quit her trade. BBC programmers froze. They refused to playlist it, claiming daytime radio couldn't normalize sex work. Yet the controversy drew attention. Within months, Roxanne broke into the UK Top 40 and later landed in Rolling Stone's 500 Greatest Songs list. Sting admitted the lyric was written in just a few minutes, but those few minutes nearly derailed their career. The band ironically gave them underground credibility, and that credibility soon exploded into global fame. But the next case shows satire itself could trigger even harsher backlash. Number 21, Short People, Randy Newman, 1977.
Motivation is to change the course of Western music. I haven't liked the way it's been going, so I decided I'd make another record.
One joke turned into a firestorm. In 1977, Randy Newman released Short People, a satirical song mocking prejudice itself. Listeners didn't get the satire. Some stations labeled it height discrimination, refusing airplay. In Maryland, a legislator even proposed banning it entirely. Despite the uproar, the track skyrocketed, selling over 2 million copies and peaking at number 2 on Billboard's Hot 100. Newman later said, "I thought it was so obvious, but for many, irony was invisible." Interestingly, the song boosted Newman's fame more than any other, though he admitted he grew tired of being the short guy singer. The backlash showed how humor could misfire in the mainstream, and soon, controversy shifted from comedy to overt sensuality that rattled family-friendly radio. Number 20, Get Down, Get on the Floor, Joe Simon, 1975.
Everybody wants you get on the floor.
Joe Simon's silky falsetto didn't sound dangerous, but censors thought differently. Released in 1975, this disco soul groove hit number 8 on Billboard's R&B chart. Its lyrics, Get Down, were interpreted by some as overtly sexual, a coded invitation to bedroom escapades. Program directors panicked about suggestive content airing during daytime hours. Ironically, Simon himself was a deeply religious man, later becoming a minister. But in the mid-70s, radio feared disco's growing reputation for hedonism. Despite bans, the track sold strongly, with Simon performing it on Soul Train before millions. The bigger story? Songs like this were harmless compared to what followed. Tracks filled with moans, screams, and scandals that forced entire networks into silence. And the next entry proves exactly that. Number 19. Only Women Bleed, Alice Cooper, 1975.
She got the needs. She spends her life through.
Alice Cooper shocked America with guillotines, snakes, and fake blood, but this ballad sparked a stranger reaction. Released in 1975, Only Women Bleed tackled domestic abuse, giving voice to women trapped in violent marriages. Some U.S. stations misread it, assuming it mocked women. They pulled it instantly. Yet despite bans, the track sold over 1 million copies and became a top 20 hit. Cooper insisted it was a serious song, not theater. Critics later praised it as one of rock's earliest mainstream attempts to spotlight women's suffering. That irony, shock rocker writing a feminist anthem, confused radio bosses. But soon, bans would come for songs not about politics or pain, but even product names. Number 18, Kodachrome, Paul Simon, 1973.
Mama, don't take my Kodachrome away.
Few bands were stranger than the one that hit Paul Simon in 1973. Kodachrome wasn't raunchy, political, or violent. It celebrated Kodak's color film, yet the BBC banned it, citing strict rules against commercial product references. Simon joked on stage that he was selling film rolls without commission. Despite the ban, it reached number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 in the US, where no such rules applied. Fans memorized its bright, nostalgic lyrics, though many in Britain first heard it only on imported vinyl. It remains one of Simon's most enduring solo hits, a love song to film roles, banned for advertising. Next came a song so explicitly sexual that no misunderstanding was possible. Number 17, The Way That You Do It, Pussyfoot, 1975.
You do it, but how you do it to me. It's not the way that I want.
1975 saw the BBC draw its harshest line against suggestive lyrics. Pussyfoot's The Way That You Do It featured vocals dripping with innuendo, leaving little to interpretation. Radio bosses declared it too explicit for British ears and banned it outright. Yet controversy fueled demand. In Australia, the track soared to number 1, selling over 200,000 copies, proving Scandal sells. Producer Mick Flynn claimed the band gave them global press they could never buy. For young audiences, the ban itself made the record irresistible, a secret thrill hidden in plain sight. Sexuality and censorship were now colliding more directly, and the next song showed how wordless moans alone could silence radio. Number 16, Jungle Fever, The Cha-Cha-Chas, 1971.
Ay, qué fiebre hay.
A Belgian studio band cut this Latin soul track in 1971, never expecting uproar. Jungle Fever topped charts in Belgium and cracked the US Billboard Hot 100, reaching number 8. But in Britain, the BBC refused it. Too many moans, sighs, and gasps. Critics described it as more bedroom than dance floor. Ironically, without radio play, sales still soared. In New York, clubs couldn't stop spinning it. Decades later, it appeared in films like Boogie Nights, celebrated as campy and erotic. What shocked parents in '71 became nostalgia by the '90s. Yet back then, moans alone silenced an entire song. And what followed turned those whispers into a 16-minute international scandal. Number 15, Love to Love You Baby, Donna Summer, 1975. 22 words caused global outrage. Produced by Giorgio Moroder, Donna Summer's Love to Love You Baby stretched sensual moans across nearly 17 minutes. The BBC banned it outright, and US stations limited airplay. Time magazine counted 23 simulated orgasms in the song. Despite controversy, it became a disco landmark, selling over 1 million copies in America alone. Summer, once a theater singer in Germany, was suddenly crowned the First Lady of Love. Politicians denounced it while clubs embraced it. Even in censored markets, copies are sold under the counter. This was no accident. It showed how Scandal sold records. And the next band wasn't about sex, but science. Number 14, The Pill, Loretta Lynn, 1975. Country music had never heard a woman singing about birth control until Loretta Lynn did. Released in 1975, The Pill caused a storm. Rural stations boycotted it, calling it immoral. Yet it sold 500,000 copies and became Lynn's biggest crossover success. The lyrics celebrated a woman's freedom from endless pregnancies, bold in an era when the US Supreme Court had only just ruled on Roe v. Wade in 1973. Lynn later admitted many rural doctors secretly thanked her because patients quoted the song in appointments. Banned from most country stations, it still climbed to number 5 on the Billboard Hot Country Singles chart. Suddenly, contraception was on the radio. And the next story takes us from medicine to marijuana. Number 13, Sugar Man, Rodriguez, 1970.
Sugar man, won't you hurry? 'Cause I'm tired.
A Detroit folk singer cut a haunting track in 1970, never knowing it would be erased in his lifetime. Sugar Man referenced cocaine, crystal meth, and hash, lyrics too direct for South Africa's apartheid government. They scratched the record itself, physically damaging imported vinyl to stop it spreading. At home in the US, Rodriguez sold barely anything, disappearing from music. But decades later, South Africans revealed he was a cult icon, outselling Elvis there. The censorship had only amplified his legend. In 2012, the Oscar-winning documentary Searching for Sugar Man revived his career. Imagine, a man who thought he'd failed learned he'd been famous abroad all along. But bands were sometimes stranger than drugs. They could even target soda. Number 12. Lola, The Kinks, 1970.
I met her in a club down in Old Soho, where you drink champagne and it tastes like Coca-Cola.
Ray Davies had to reboard a plane just to save this hit. When Lola first played on BBC Radio, its lyric Coca-Cola triggered panic. Product references broke strict broadcast rules. Davies had to re-record the word as Cherry Cola so the song could air. But controversy didn't stop there. The story of a man dancing with someone who walked like a woman but talked like a man left censors uneasy. Despite hurdles, it shot to number 2 in the UK and number 9 in the US. Decades later, it's hailed as one of the first mainstream songs to openly reference transgender identity. A gender-bending anthem slipped past censors by a single re-recorded word. And the next song didn't flirt with subversion, it shouted it at society. Number 11, Ball of Confusion. That's what the world is today. The Temptations, 1970.
People moving in wild because of the color of the skin. Run, run, run.
In 1970, America was reeling from Vietnam, assassinations, and riots, and the Temptations sang it all. Ball of Confusion packed rapid-fire lyrics about segregation, unemployment, drug addiction, and politics. Some US stations hesitated, fearing the content was too radical for air. Yet listeners loved it. It reached number 3 on Billboard's R&B chart and became one of Motown's sharpest protest anthems. The Temptations weren't alone. Soul groups like the OJs and Marvin Gaye, What's Going On, followed. But this single set the pace. Radio programmers preferred love songs, not lyrical chaos about war and corruption. Still, fans heard the truth beneath the groove. And while politics made them nervous, the next band attacked religion itself. Number 10, Imagine, John Lennon, 1971.
Imagine there's no heaven.
Released in 1971, Imagine became one of the most famous peace anthems of all time, yet entire countries silenced it. South Africa's apartheid government banned it, calling its Imagine No Religion lyric dangerous. After Lennon's murder in 1980, some US stations even pulled it temporarily, fearing the lyrics too provocative in a moment of mourning. Despite bans, it sold over 1.6 million copies in the UK alone and remains Lennon's most successful solo single. Rolling Stone ranked it the 3rd greatest song of all time. But beneath the melody was a radical idea, utopia without faith or borders. That vision terrified leaders. And where Lennon faced censorship for dreaming, Lou Reed soon met bans for raw reality. Number 9, Walk on the Wild Side, Lou Reed, 1972.
All I came from Miami, FLA. Hitchhiked away across the USA.
When Lou Reed released Walk on the Wild Side in 1972, radio didn't know what to do with it. The track introduced everyday listeners to Andy Warhol's factory scene, transgender women, drug hustlers, and sex workers. Shaved his legs, then he was a she. This lyric sparked bans across conservative markets. The BBC let it slide initially, but many US stations edited or avoided it. Despite censorship, it reached number 16 on Billboard's Hot 100 and became Reed's signature song. Its casual delivery hit a groundbreaking cultural moment, putting marginalized voices into mainstream pop. Critics later called it the first true LGBTQ anthem on American radio. What Reed smuggled in with poetry, the Rolling Stones shouted with shocking bluntness. Number 8. Brown Sugar, The Rolling Stones, 1971. Few hits are as loved and loathed as Brown Sugar. Written by Mick Jagger in 1969, the lyrics reference slavery, interracial sex, and drug use. Released in 1971, it topped the Billboard Hot 100 but faced immediate bans from stations wary of its content. Jagger later admitted he wasn't proud of the lyrics, calling them a mishmash of nasty subjects. Despite bans, it sold millions and became a Stones concert staple for decades, until 2021, when the band finally stopped performing it due to modern criticism. What began as a chart-topping anthem now lingers as one of rock's most debated songs. And the censorship that followed wasn't cultural, it was personal. Number 7. Hi Hi Hi, Wings, 1972.
Tell you what, do you fancy a little bit of rock and roll? You got it.
Paul McCartney had already shocked Britain with Give Ireland Back to the Irish earlier that year. But this single pushed censors over the edge. Released in December 1972, Hi 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 was instantly banned by the BBC for blatant sexual content and suspected drug references. The lyric, I'm gonna do it to you, was judged obscene, while the high refrain was assumed to mean getting high. Ironically, the flip side, See Moon, received airplay and still reached number 5 in the UK singles chart. McCartney later joked bands only made records sell better. Yet the BBC wasn't laughing. His next political single would cause even bigger trouble in Westminster. Number 6. Give Ireland Back to the Irish, Wings, 1972. Released just weeks after the Bloody Sunday massacre in Derry, Northern Ireland, this protest song landed like a bomb. McCartney wrote it overnight in February 1972, furious at British troops killing 13 unarmed civil rights marchers. EMI hesitated but still issued it. The BBC, Radio Luxembourg, and most UK broadcasters banned it immediately. Even so, it shot to number 1 in Ireland and Spain, and number 16 in the UK. McCartney defended it as the most honest song I've ever written. To British officials, it was propaganda. To Irish fans, it was truth set to melody. Rarely had a Beatle taken such a risky stand. And if politics triggered outrage here, tragedy itself would drive the next ban. Number 5. I Don't Like Mondays, The Boomtown Rats, 1979.
The silicon chip inside the head gets switched to overload.
On January 29, 1979, 16-year-old Brenda Ann Spencer opened fire on a school in San Diego, killing 2 and injuring 9. Asked why, she infamously replied, I don't like Mondays. Bob Geldof turned her words into a song released later that year. The chilling single topped the UK charts but horrified US programmers. Several American stations banned it, fearing it was too exploitative and insensitive to victims. Geldof later admitted he was stunned by its success, calling it a story song about the senselessness of it all. It remains one of rock's most controversial number 1 hits. And while bans here came from tragedy, the next entry faced outrage simply for making listeners laugh too hard. Number 4. Cop Killer Prototype, Steppenwolf's The Pusher, 1970. Long before rap's controversies, rock had its own outlaw anthem. Steppenwolf's The Pusher didn't chart high, but its brutal honesty about drug dealers made censors squirm. Released on their 1970 live sets, it contained the repeated line, "Goddamn the Pusher Man," a profanity rarely heard on radio then. Several US stations flat out banned it, yet the song became iconic after being featured in the film Easy Rider with its raw critique of heroin epidemics in late 60s America. Steppenwolf, already famous for Born to Be Wild, now carried the label of dangerous truth tellers. If one curse word caused outrage here, what came next pushed innuendo into comedy records. Number 3, Big Ten, Judge Dredd, 1975. No artist racked up more BBC bans than Judge Dredd, over a dozen songs blacklisted. Big Ten, released in 1975, was part of his cheeky numbered song series, Big 6, Big 7. Its reggae rhythm sounded playful, but the lyrics overflowed with innuendo and bawdy humor. The BBC instantly banned it, branding his entire catalog unfit for air. Yet Judge Dredd sold millions of records in Britain, outpacing Bob Marley in UK single sales during the decade. Fans loved what radio wouldn't touch. He joked that bans were his best marketing tool. His career proved censorship often backfired. But while his humor was cheeky, the Sex Pistols brought pure chaos with no jokes attached. Number 2, Anarchy in the UK, Sex Pistols, 1976. The debut single from the Sex Pistols was practically a declaration of war. Released in November 1976, Anarchy in the UK blasted onto Britain's airwaves with snarling lyrics. I am an antichrist. I am an anarchist. Radio programmers recoiled. Many stations refused to air it, labeling it dangerous propaganda. The controversy exploded after the Pistols' profanity-filled TV appearance on Today with Bill Grundy, which caused national outrage and tabloid frenzy. Despite minimal airplay, the single sold 200,000 copies and became a punk manifesto. Politicians and tabloids painted the band as enemies of society. Yet this was only the rehearsal. Their follow-up single would become the most banned and most iconic song in British history. Number 1, God Save the Queen, Sex Pistols, 1977. Released during Queen Elizabeth II's Silver Jubilee, it lit Britain on fire. God Save the Queen called the monarchy a fascist regime and sneered, "There is no future in England's dreaming." The BBC banned it instantly. Major record stores refused to stock it, yet it still stormed to number 2 on the UK singles chart in June 1977. Some fans insist it actually hit number 1 but was blocked by chart authorities. Police stopped the band's notorious Jubilee boat performance on the River Thames, arresting crew members. The song became a rallying cry for punk and remains one of the most controversial singles in rock history. Few records ever blended music, politics, and rebellion so explosively. Thanks for watching. If these banned songs shocked you, just wait for the next countdown of rock's wildest scandals. Smash that like button, subscribe for more untold stories, and hit that bell. Don't miss another forbidden track in music history.